everyone, it is Matthew. Welcome back to a brand new video, and today I'm going to be doing my NFL playoff predictions. The 2024 NFL playoffs are now set up. We just got done with the final regular season game, and so I'm going to be doing my full predictions for all of the NFL playoffs, all the way to my Super Bowl predictions. Now, before we get started with my predictions, make sure you guys comment your predictions, who you think's going to make it to the Super Bowl, who's going to win the Super Bowl. This year's NFL season has been crazy, and I could see so many different things going different ways. This year's NFL playoffs are so difficult to predict because there's no clear-cut favorite. Last year, I feel like most of us kind of expected the Chiefs and Eagles to probably make the Super Bowl, but this year, I could see 4 or 5 teams realistically from each conference possibly making it to the Super Bowl, and so many games are toss-ups, and I could see so much stuff going different ways, and it's going to make it very entertaining, but very difficult to predict the playoffs. But now, let's get started with my NFL playoff predictions. Starting with the AFC wildcard, we're starting with the 7 versus the 2 seed. We have the Steelers at the Bills. I think Buffalo definitely gets this one done. I think they're a lot better than the Steelers, and I think they move on. Now moving on to the 6 versus the 3, Dolphins at Chiefs. The Chiefs have kind of struggled in the regular season, but I definitely don't think they lose this game. I have the Chiefs beating the Dolphins. I'm not betting against Patrick Mahomes in the wild card. I think the reigning Super Bowl champions move on to the divisional round. Now we have the 5 versus the 4 seed, Browns at the Texans. Joe Flacco has led the Browns. He came out of retirement at 39 and is now leading the Browns versus this very young Houston team that was not expected to be here. But in the end, I think the Browns have the better defense, the better experience, and I think they get this one done and they beat the Texans. Now the NFC wildcard, starting with the Packers at the Cowboys. The Cowboys have looked really good this year. I think this is the best Cowboys team we've seen, and I know every year they seem to lose in the playoffs, but definitely versus the Packers in the wild card, I think they easily get this one done, and the Cowboys move on. Then we have the Rams at the Lions. Matthew Stafford's return to Detroit. Jared Goff versus his old team. This, I think, will be the game of the week for the wild card weekend. And this is a toss-up game, but I'm going to go with the Lions. I realistically think the Rams could make a Super Bowl run, but like I said, it's a toss-up game for me, but I'm going to go with Detroit at home. And then we have the Eagles versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Eagles have really struggled lately, but I still think they beat Tampa Bay, and the Eagles move on to the divisional. Now we move on to the AFC divisional round, starting with the Browns at the Ravens. Joe Flacco going to his old team in Baltimore, but Lamar Jackson, he's the MVP this year, and I think the Ravens move on to their first AFC championship game in the Lamar Jackson era, and I have the Ravens beating the Browns. Now, the Chiefs at the Bills. These two teams seem to always meet up in the playoffs, and every year it seems like the Chiefs beat them, but I guess, betting against Patrick Mahomes. I am going to go with the Bills to finally beat the Chiefs in the AFC playoffs. I really could see this going another way. I realistically still think the Chiefs could go win the Super Bowl, and I wouldn't be surprised, but I'm going to go with Buffalo to finally beat the Chiefs in the playoffs. Now the NFC divisional, starting with the Eagles at the 49ers. These two teams met up in the regular season. The Niners destroyed them, and since then, the Niners have been playing as good as they have been. The Eagles have really struggled. I'm definitely going with the Niners to beat the reigning NFC champs, and I'm going with the Niners to beat the Eagles and move on to the NFC Championship. Now, the Lions at Cowboys. These two teams met up in a very controversial game just a few weeks ago. I think that loss by Detroit could hunger them in this, but I know the Cowboys haven't made an NFC Championship game in so long, but I think that ends this year. This is a close game, I think, but I'm going with the Cowboys to beat the Lions in the divisional round. Now, the conference championship games, starting with the AFC. We have the Ravens and the Bills, two teams that have really been, every year it seems like this may be their year, and then they always seem to get beat by the Chiefs in the playoffs, but now they've got through that, and they're meeting in the AFC Championship. This would be just the Bills' second AFC Championship game in the Josh Allen era. Like I said, Lamar Jackson era. This would be the Ravens' first AFC Championship game. I think this would be such a good game, and in the end, I'm going to go with the Bills to pull off an upset. I think the Bills know this is kind of their last chance with this team. They've come so close to getting to a Super Bowl so many times, and I think this year they're hungry, and I think they march through to their first Super Bowl in the Josh Allen era, but I could see that game going either way between the Ravens and Bills. But I have the Bills beating the Ravens and going to the Super Bowl. And then the NFC Conference Championship, this one would be a really good game as well. I think the Cowboys would make it close, unlike their regular season game, but the Niners at home, I just cannot pick against them. I'm going to go with the 49ers to beat the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys streak ends there, which they haven't made an NFC Championship game in a long time. I think they at least get there. But I'm going with the Niners to beat the Cowboys in the Conference Championship. And that sets up a 49ers versus Bills Super Bowl 58, the Bills versus the 49ers. I think this would be a really entertaining game, and I think this would be a shootout game, one of the more entertaining Super Bowls. But in the end, I'm going to go with the 49ers. The 49ers seem like the most well-rounded team. And I know every once in a while they may put up a bad game, but I just feel like they're the most well-rounded team. And I think if they really want to, I think they win this Super Bowl. So I have the 49ers beating the Bills in Super Bowl 58. There's my predictions for the Super Bowl and my full NFL playoff predictions. Like I said, make sure you guys comment down below your predictions for the NFL playoffs. And if you disagree with my predictions, please don't get mad at me. I realistically can see so many different combinations of Super Bowl matchups. I could see like 4 to 5 teams in each conference making the Super Bowl, and it's so difficult to predict. But there's my NFL playoff predictions. Make sure you guys leave a like on the video. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button. But that is going to be all for today's video. So till next time, see ya!
Saying that it feels right.